Cambridge Radio is powered by volunteers who care about sharing the voices, stories and sounds of our city. But rising costs from rent to equipment and music licences mean we need your help. By this September, we need to raise enough money to secure our future in 2027. If Cambridge Radio has ever made you smile, kept you company, or helped you feel part of this city, please donate today. Visit cambridge.radio/support us.
Flavour.
This is Cambridge Radio.
I'm going to read you the menu. It's fantastic.
So we get better flavour because of the fen soil.
I've drunk more beer since I came here and bought my 2 barrels than I've ever done in my life before, I think.
I shouldn't have said almonds, they don't make it from almonds.
So you've got this big sticky mess when you start off.
Pizza box pints.
My wife's cakes are selling at hot cakes. Brilliant, thank you.
The time is right for this sort of thing.
Food is everything.
Cambridge is right for this sort of thing.
What's it like? Delicious.
Good afternoon and welcome to Flavour, live from Gwydir Street with Alan Alder and me, Matt Bentman, on what should be the last hot day of the current heatwave.
Yeah, let's hope so, but what's it been like to have to work outdoors in it? We'll find out on the programme today from a couple of market stall holders.
Yeah, we'll also find out about what's going on with Kerb Kollective. They sell coffee and food at the Museum of Technology here in Cambridge.
Finboy's experiment with putting meat on the menu's been running for a little while now, so I asked Finboy's Richard Stokes how it's going. And we'll have our regular features too: free food in Cambridge, local food and drink news, social media updates, and at the end of the programme, our jobs roundup.
Yeah, so let's begin then with Kerb Kollective. Now, Kerb Kollective sell ground specialty coffee on the grounds of the Museum of Technology, which you might also know as the old pumping station with that big chimney down by the river. Now, the museum is a charity with a long lease from the council. It's got this goal of creating this vibrant community hub, this public benefit, by contracting to independents like Kerb Kollective, as well as Calverley's and Scott's Pizza, who run their businesses on the museum site as well. It's a really lovely location, and you can find Kerb Kollective on the lower yard of the site. Now, as well as coffee, Kerb Kollective also sell cakes, pastries, buns. They're open from 8 till 4 every day, and they've been really popular with the locals ever since they opened at the beginning of COVID 6 years ago. They went from this small kiosk startup to a proper roastery and bakery outfit. And people going for coffee and cakes may also be inclined to visit the Museum of Technology too, so that's increased footfall for them. Everyone's a winner, right? And several weeks ago, the Kerb Kollective team launched a crowdfunder to expand their on-site bakery and roastery to meet with increased demand. So, plenty more banana and walnut cake, chocolate and raspberry blondies, fresh cinnamon rolls, focaccia sandwiches, vegan muffins, and you can also go there for breakfast and lunch as well. So, many people have been a bit upset at the museum's decision not to renew Kerb Collective's contract on the 31st of August, and instead look for another coffee supplier.
I love this place. It's my favourite coffee place and they have amazing buns. Yeah, I come here regularly and I think it's an awful shame if this place were to close.
We've been coming here once or twice a week for the last several years, usually after doing some exercise nearby. It's just a great place to meet with friends. It's been so social and vibrant the whole time. They do great coffee, great food.
I was really sad to hear the news that Kerb's is not going to be able to stay. Because, it's been a place that we've met for ages and is such a community spot.
People living down at Riverside have set up a petition to keep Kerb Kollective, with lots of comments similar to those that you just heard, showing how supportive the locals are of this peppy little independent, saying like, it's not just a cafe, it's this family-friendly daytime space, and it supplies local jobs, and it also satisfies the criteria of the museum's own goals of an open space and social hub for the community. So at the time of this broadcast, there's been about 2,250 signatures on this petition, and you can find that petition on change.com. Just search for Save Kerb Kollective. Kerb and Collective, they're both spelt with the K, by the way. Now, the problem, it seems, from what you can read online, is the proposal of merging the lower yard area, that's where Kerb Kollective trade, into an evening alcohol and pizza venue, and that would fundamentally change the character of the lower yard. So, whereas Kerb, they would like to open in the evenings as an evening cafe, an alcohol-free space. New contract terms for the lower yard after the 31st of August are currently being drawn up. Now, we don't know what those terms are. I guess they just aren't agreeable to Kerb Kollective to stay on. All we know is that these terms form part of a plan to develop the potential of the museum site as an open space and social hub for the community in the long term. And there was a further message from the museum trustees. They posted on their website saying, "Over many months we negotiated in good faith to find a way forward together. In the end, we could not agree on the terms of how this integrated space would operate." Now, it seems a real shame to lose the goodwill that Kerb Kollective have generated for the site, and perhaps a real miss when there are just so few spaces open in the evenings in Cambridge where you can go for a coffee. Plenty of spaces if you want a beer, yeah, sure, but not a coffee space. And I know that I've had enough people ask me over the years, why is there nowhere to go for a coffee in the evenings in town? Why does everything close after 5? Actually, I've got lots of foreign friends who have said that to me because, you know, ostensibly we're still missing that continental evening cafe culture. You think if we could do that anywhere in this country, that Cambridge would be a good spot. And down by the river on a summer's evening for coffee and cake, that really sounds great, doesn't it? We're going to find out in the coming months what will happen at Riverside. In the meantime, Kerb Kollective will remain open every day until the 31st of August. We have contacted both parties for comment, but I don't think either wanted to iterate anything more, as lots of info can be found, certainly, on the Museum of Technology's website about this matter. So from our viewpoints, it's kind of the loss of a great independent food seller in the city who's never seemingly put a foot wrong. And losing an independent, it just means losing another bit of colour, another bit of vibrancy, losing jobs, and a bit of life in the city that is often seen as struggling under the weight of homogeneity. Hopefully Kerb will find something else soon and not leave town. Do you think so, Alan?
Yeah. They're very popular. I hope they'll stay somewhere. Now details of free food available in and around Cambridge, and the information about what's available and where to get it comes from the Olio app, and that exists so that people's or businesses' surplus food doesn't go to waste.
That's right, and today's look at Olio for Cambridge shows us that Serena in Mill Road near Hot Numbers Coffee has got sugar-ringed donuts, 2 packs of white chocolate and 1 pack of milk chocolate cookies to give away, as well as 3 white baguettes and a crusty white baton. These were all saved from Sainsbury's. Next up is Claire B on Gilbert Road. She's got 3 Swedes available for collection. That's 3 Swede root vegetables, not 3 Swedish people, just to be clear. Marie, next to the train station in Great Shelford, has a bunch of Mr. Freeze ice lollies going free. 2 lemon, 3 orange and 2 cola. I haven't seen those Mr. Freezes since I was a kid, so just seeing that photo of them took me right back. Teresa in Great Shelford has an unopened 10-pack of Cadbury Tassimo chocolate pods. And finally, Ginny on Radigund Road has a bottle of Vietnamese rice paper sauce. And that's a dipping sauce for spring rolls, pancake rolls. It's made from fish sauce, water, sugar, lime juice, garlic and chili. So yeah, there's an interesting little collection of items there, all found on the Olio app today. So do remember to check it regularly because there's always lots of things coming on the Olio app throughout the week.
Yeah, sounds very good. And also there's the Too Good To Go app, and that has unsold food from restaurants, cafes and shops, often at less than half price, and again, otherwise they'd be binned at the end of the day's trading, and lots of places use it. Shops, restaurants, cafes, hotels, big, small, middle-sized, all sorts.
OK, on to our first news break now for the 27th of June, and this very weekend at the Queen Edith pub in Wolfstone Way, there is a Taste of Portugal. It happened last night. It's available again tonight and tomorrow night. It's very reasonably priced, and lovers of salt cod were going to be really pleased to see that one of the dishes on the menu features the salt cod, served with caramelised onions, peppers and tomatoes and fried potato, all for £18. Open now is the garden at Mark Poynton's Ancient Shepherds in Fen Ditton, where you can enjoy a drink from 12 noon. No need to book, no need to be staying for a meal either.
This weekend, Page's Coffee House in Trumpington Street is celebrating International Pride with a lavender latte special, and all proceeds from the special will go to the Kite Trust, which supports the well-being and creativity of LGBTQ+ young people across Cambridgeshire. Every Thursday in July, Cambridge Bid will have free live music in Cambridge's Station Square. It'll run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and there'll be a variety of food trucks there from Food Park as well. Also an exhibition of local photography, and on the 23rd and the 30th of July, the Cambridge Folk Festival will provide music.
On the 30th of June, Scots All Day in Mill Road has Tacos Tuesday, which includes tacos and vegan tacos. All are gluten-free. There's Mexican specials, beers for £4 and margaritas for £6. Booking is advised.
There's a chance to join a work party at the fascinating Briar Farm in Willingham on the 4th of July from 9 till 12 noon. Contact them for details. The 29th Festival of Beer and Brewing at the Food Museum in Stowmarket is on from the 2nd to the 5th of July, and it takes place in and around the medieval barn. There's food available throughout the day and live entertainment in the evening.
Frank's Farm in Ellsworth has a wine night right now with Nethergate Wines on the 4th of July with cheese and charcuterie. You'll need to book though. Email tables@franks.farm. And also on the 4th of July, Willow Grange Farm in Chittering, which is between Waterbeach and Streatham, has a Meet the Makers event, and that includes Cambridge Distillery, the Brew Project, Pachin's Table, Watergull Orchards, Chocolat, and many others. And that is our news for now. We'll have more later.
We can't not mention the weather. Life is difficult for us all when temperatures are as high as they have been, but while some of us can find a cool spot indoors, what's it like to work outdoors in this heat? Here's what Briar Farm in Willingham had to say. You remember Briar Farm do a huge amount in order to try and protect the environment, and this is what they said on Thursday. It's a brutal scene out there. Plants wilting, panicking and bolting, seedlings frying in the sun, strawberries ripening and rotting in the blink of an eye, newly planted trees, saplings failing to establish, ponds evaporating. Despite all the climate mitigations we've been putting into place, everything is struggling. This is the new normal. And what's it like working on the market here in Cambridge? Here's Julia from the Emerald Food Stall. I spoke to her on Wednesday morning when the temperature had already hit 32 degrees. What's it like working on the market in these conditions of temperature?
Absolutely bloody horrendous.
There's a bit of a breeze though.
There is a breeze, yes, I can't deny that. It's still not good enough though.
Oh really, it's hard?
No, it's very hard, very tough. I mean, underneath the canopies you need to add at least 2 to 3 degrees on top of the predicted heat. So
right,
yeah, so like, for example, obviously if it's going to get up to 34 today, it's going to be at least 36 under here.
God, that's terrible.
It just kills trade completely.
And what about customers?
Well,
are there many?
You can see there aren't any. No customers. I mean, we get. Luckily, we have a lot of. Our regulars coming really early before the heat gets too much. So we've been coming in this week for that reason, just to kind of keep our regulars happy. But once they've gone, we're just kind of like standing here,
waiting until you can close,
waiting to die.
It's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, I'm a bit. No, the heat makes me a bit dramatic.
Look, you've got a customer.
Can cut that. You've got a customer. Yeah.
So are you going to do it tomorrow as well?
We are kind of taking every day as it comes this week. But yeah, I mean, we don't want to close, no way. But yeah, like you see, there's a lot of effort to set the stall up. It takes us at least 2 hours to set up and an hour and a half to pack down every night. But yeah, so we're going to close early today at 2 o'clock. Luckily, we've been allowed to do that, so we kind of missed the peak of the temperature, I guess. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks very much.
Sorry, you caught me in a dramatic moment. I've just walked through town.
Right. And Chris, who runs the vegetable stall opposite the Louisiana Fried Chicken place, had this to say. Chris, what's it like trading in these temperatures?
Well, as a person, it's not very comfortable, and of course we've got fruit and veg, which are very perishable, so we have to take steps to keep it out of the sun, keep it hydrated, and keep the stock turning over. So buy minimal quantities and try and sell out every day.
Right. And are you managing? I mean, are there many customers about?
There were several customers yesterday. Today looks a lot quieter.
There were several yesterday.
There were several. Yeah, it was much busier yesterday.
As many as that,
yeah,
several.
There was. Yeah, but I think people have heeded the warning today and seem to be staying indoors. doors. But we'll probably be going early, closing up early this week to avoid the very hottest temperatures in the afternoon.
So you're going to be here tomorrow because it's forecast to be hot tomorrow?
Possibly won't be trading tomorrow, but we'll be back again Friday.
Yeah.
I know it's a hot day Friday, but it's usually quite a busier shopping day Friday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
There's a few people around, but are they mostly tourists?
They seem to be mostly tourists. They're not.
They've got to go somewhere.
They've got to go somewhere, and they probably just need a Coke and a coffee or something like that, and they don't really want a cabbage or a Swede.
I suppose not. You don't see many tourists chewing on a Swede, do you?
No. Occasionally they'll buy a piece of fruit, but most people are. I think it's mad dogs and Englishmen today, is it?
Yes.
Like yourself.
And what about the weather this year? There's been quite a lot more rain than usual, but temperatures have been higher. Has it made any difference to quality, quantity?
The vegetables did well in the sort of late winter, early spring. There was a good amount of rain for them then. Of course, a drought set in April, so anything drilled in April that would be coming in for autumn has really struggled. So we're expecting shortages probably of autumn brassicas, probably something like that.
Right, so a hike in prices if there's a shortage.
Certainly a hike. There's always a hike in prices, isn't there? There's always a reason to hike the prices, isn't there?
Right, okay. And your hydration technique is what? Just to spray them all?
Yeah, I've got a sprayer here that I spray everything, keep everything hydrated. It's evaporation equals cooling, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Latent heat of vaporisation, I seem to remember.
Absolutely, yeah, that's schoolboy physics, that is, yeah. Keep it hydrated, that's it, out of the sun.
Great, okay, well, good luck.
Thank you.
And that was Chris on Cambridge Market. A few updates on temperature and its effect. Flourish Farm in Hildersham put on their newsletter this week that the temperature in their polytunnels has reached 50 degrees, which, Matt, that's not really... It's not safe, is it? No. It's not safe. However, the courgettes, the cucumbers are liking it and they're growing thick and fast, so it's not all bad news. Sweet Pea Market Garden has cancelled the community day today because AD says we're in need of a break after a very hot week, but they will be at the Grandsons Farmers Market tomorrow with plenty of courgettes and cucumbers. They're obviously having a great time, these courgettes and cucumbers. The Handsome Prince Bar in King Street will be closed this weekend. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know whether that's temperature related. Market Square Coffee and Cake, who sell fantastic burnt Basque cheesecake, are not open today. Apparently Claire from the Market Square Coffee and Cake melted yesterday.
Oh, gosh.
Not comfortable. So she needs a day to cool down, so they're not trading today. But the good news is it's going to cool down a bit tomorrow.
The best heat-related job I've ever had. One summer I worked for a spring water company, so pumping the fresh water out of the ground. It was no problem at all working there every day, but Mad Dogs and Englishmen, I used to live on a farm, and my dad, he would always pick the hottest time of the day without fail to do the hardest work, whether it's getting the hay in all loaded up and into the barns and things. He just had a natural radar for that, to divine the hottest time. Couldn't stand it.
I used to work in an ice cream factory in summer.
Did you?
Yes, it was great.
It was as good as it sounds.
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you get free ice cream? That's the question everybody would ask, right?
I don't know if it was free, but we certainly ate a lot of it.
Well, recently Finboys added meat to their menus, with the exception of Friday and Saturday nights when the tasting menu is served. Alan went along to number 2 Mill Road and asked Finboy Richard Stokes how it's going.
Can you remind me what was the thinking behind that?
Just to get some more customers in, because not everybody eats fish and shellfish. 95% of the country are meat eaters. So we thought we'd just spread our net, so to speak, a little bit wider.
And what's customers' reaction been?
We don't sell a huge amount. It's just that we did have also a lot of guests that would say, I've been waiting to come to Finboys, but my partner doesn't eat meat. So it's been
doesn't eat fish?
Doesn't eat fish, sorry, yeah. So, we just thought we'd just try. We don't sell a huge amount. Probably 1 in 15 people will have a meat starter, and probably 1 or 2 people might have a meat main course, but no, we're not selling a lot. I might change it again for August and just take meat off the menu, but I thought we'd give it 2 or 3 months and just see how it went.
Why do you think more people aren't eating meat? Do you think it's not well enough known about yet that you're offering it? Or
I think we've done such a good job over the last 5 years creating a really good seafood restaurant. people who don't associate us with meat and probably don't want to because they've enjoyed what they've had in their fish and shellfish over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason really why.
One of the issues with fish is the price of fish, and you get it from day boats as well, which must also be expensive.
Fish has always been the most expensive protein, unless you're talking Wagyu beef, but even rare breed meats, they don't cost as much per kilo as fish do, especially primary fish and day boat fish in particular. But we didn't want to go down the trawlered fish route. We don't have wet fish on the menu, so we probably cut our own throats a little bit in that regard. But no, we're still ploughing ahead with day boat fish. But the last 5 years has seen a steady increase. Probably the some days the amount that you have on offer is so varied, especially from down the Cornish coast. But it's still fetching a pretty penny, really. I say far more expensive than meat, but we're a fish restaurant, so we just have to suck it up, really.
Right, you don't lose customers through price, having to put prices up, you think?
I'm sure some people think it's expensive, but again, people generally in this country don't think about the 20% that goes straight to VAT, because there's no VAT on food, so 20% of whatever they're paying goes straight to the Chancellor, and it makes our margins minuscule, almost obsolete, really.
Yeah, so that affects restaurants and cafes, doesn't it? But as you say, not if you're buying food for cooking at home.
Correct, yeah.
So, I've noticed on Instagram there's a lot of restaurants who have tables available who never used to have tables available. They'd be booked solid for weeks, months in advance, but there seem to be more table availability now. So are restaurants suffering a bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the hospitality industry has been pretty depressed since Brexit, really. Lots of workers obviously left these shores, and lots of places started closing on Sundays and Mondays, or Mondays and Tuesdays, almost overnight. Instead of being a 7-day operation, it became a 5-day operation, and you have to cut your costs accordingly, and it's very difficult for everyone across the industry at the moment. I think probably some customers are fed up hearing chefs and restaurant owners sort of bleating on about the VAT's the problem and everything, but it is true. That's what's going to cause many more restaurants to shut in the next year. I think it's 2.5 a day at the moment since January. It's very worrying statistics, and being big employers of young people in particular, and everyone wondering why young people can't get jobs. It's because a lot of those jobs are being taken away from them, as hospitality is suffering.
So a lot of young people go into catering then?
Yes, yeah. I think most. I think I also read something. There's about 30% of people's first job is in the hospitality industry, whether that's part-time or full-time. I thought it'd been more than that, to be totally honest. But it's just very difficult for anyone to get, especially young people, feel very sorry for getting jobs at the moment because there's not many around, and especially if you're, having 17, 18 hospitality places close every single week. They've got less choice to find a job, really, with all those businesses being taken away from them.
Yeah, so a cut in VAT would obviously help.
I think it'd be the fairest way, so we're in line with the rest of Europe. I think that would be very wise if you want to create jobs and keep people who are employed at the moment in their employ.
Yeah, right, okay. And Richard, you also started opening at Sunday lunchtime as well, which you didn't used to do.
Yeah, we were going to do that for a month, just tried it, but nobody really booked her. I think we had 8 people book over the space of the month. I think there's lots of places that does Sunday lunch.
And what were you doing, sort of the traditional roast meat?
We were, but we're going to open one Sunday in July and August to see how they go, a one-off, and we're going to call it Shellfish Sundays. So the whole menu will be shellfish and mollusks and bivalves and all the really nice stuff which we have abundance of in these waters. Again, some of it quite expensive. There'll be lobsters and crabs and prawns and crayfish and mussels and clams and everything nice on the menu, oysters on the menu. So we should open, it'll be an a la carte affair, but yeah, we're going to open on 26th of July and the 23rd of August. So they're going to be our 2 Shellfish Sundays. If it's popular, it's something we might keep on every month.
It's a great idea for summer, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I say if no one wanted to do the beef thing, because there's lots of places doing beef and roasts on a Sunday, we thought we'd just change things up and do something that we know we're good at and shellfish sundaes could be a thing that we carry on with. We'll just see how the first two go.
And that would be at lunchtime, not in the evening?
Lunchtime only, yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, well, hopefully it works. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks and good luck with it, Richard.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, one of the very impressive features of Finboys is their willingness to experiment and adapt. They just never stand still. That was Richard Stokes.
Coming up on Flavour here on Cambridge Radio, we have a food-related holiday idea, more news, more wine tasting news, an update from social media, a look at today's Feast magazine, and our jobs roundup. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go away.
Cambridge Radio.
For more than 20 years, Neil Jones has welcomed some of the biggest names in music, like Iron Maiden, Green Day, Midge, Guns N' Roses, and ZZ Top. And closer to home, Neil champions the Cambridgeshire music scene, giving emerging local bands their first radio airplay.
A living legend on the show, Mr. Sammy Hagar, who is currently in Hawaii, I gather. How are you, Sammy?
I'm good. Like in Hawaii right now, it's like after dinner time, it's dark. I've been in the beach all day. I go to bed early here because it's so damn early, relative to even the West Coast. I feel really good.
The Neil Jones Rock Show, online whenever you want, and Tuesdays at 9 on Cambridge Radio.
Choosing the right sixth form is a big decision. At Chesterton, we offer something a little different. It's a strong academic community with small classes and expert teaching that leads to outstanding results, and places at Oxbridge and other top universities. With Cambridge City on the doorstep, Chesterton sixth form students gain independence too. The choice is Chesterton. Find out more at choice.tela.org.uk. Part of the Eastern Alliance Multi-Academy Trust.
And welcome back to Flavour. Let's start off with some more news. Local markets coming up include Girton, which is not coming up, it's actually on now until 3 o'clock at Glebe Primary School. Haslingfield Market is tomorrow, and Gransden's Farmers Market is also tomorrow. Then there's Linton on the 4th of July, Orwell Pannier Market also on the 4th of July, Caxton on the 12th, Histon on the 18th, Waterbeach on the 19th, and every Friday, Foodie Friday happens at Ely Market from 4 till 8:30, and every Saturday, the Clay Farm Market is running until 2 p.m.
There's a Southern Italian pop-up at Cambridge Cookery and Wine School. That's on the 9th and the 30th of July with Betty Cuthbert, who is returning to Cambridge after her successful time at the Allotment Cafe in Bow. The menus are inspired by Betty's time living in Sicily. So if you'd like to book that, just contact Betty directly by emailing bettycuthbert92@gmail.com.
Also at Cambridge Cookery and Wine School, there's a course on the 15th of July. It's a beef masterclass, a sourdough masterclass on the 19th of July, pasta perfection on the 25th of July, and a beginner's bread masterclass on the 26th of July. Meanwhile, at the White Cottage Baking School in Kingston, CB23, there's a sourdough workshop on the 2nd and the 10th of July, French breads on the 8th of July, and breads of the Levant on the 16th of July.
Fermentable has a fermentation workshop with Michelin-trained chef Rowan Halstead, also known on social media as Waste Not Rowan. The workshop will be followed by a 3-course vegetarian lunch. This all happens on the 11th of July from 10 till 2 in Storiesfield Centre in Eddington. Details and tickets can be obtained from the Fermentable website.
Cambridge Wine Merchants' next Saturday club is on the 18th of July and will feature Thai dishes from Wok Around the Clock. What a great name.
I wish I could come up with good stuff like that. It's very memorable, isn't it?
Well, I suppose Beatles fans would be attracted to Please Cheese Me or A Butcher's Call From Meat to You.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Love Me Donut. Anyway, some special nights are coming up at Finboys in Mill Road on the 1st of July. A Provence wine dinner, which includes a bouillabaisse. There are 5 courses, each with matching wine. On the 20th of July, there's a Chinese banquet. And on the 5th of August, a Tuscan night with matching wines. And on the 24th of August, black and blue with tuna and beef on a menu that features a lot of both.
Restaurant 22 is collaborating with Grape Britannia on the 27th of July when there will be a tasting menu. and each course will be paired with a wine from a different English region, and the food will showcase the quality, diversity and the character of produce from this country. It's £220, and that gets you an arrival drink, the full tasting menu and paired wines. There's a 20% discount for friends in hospitality and those with blue light cards. To take advantage of this, email alex@restaurant22.co.uk. And Carmen's Pizza is opening up at the Cambridge Blue Moon in Norfolk Street on the 1st of August after months of planning.
Finally, in Congratulations Corner, today we see the Rupert Brook in Grantchester, which has an award from CAMRA for Most Improved Pub of the Year. The Maypole in Portugal Place for City Pub of the Year. The team from Margaret's in Chesterton Road, which was the winner of the Muddy Stilettos Award for Best Restaurant. And that is our news for today. We've got some wine tasting news coming up soon. Now, this hot weather puts you in mind, puts us in mind as well, of holidays. And if you're wanting an activity or a work-style holiday, you might consider woofing. It's working on an organic farm, and it's a worldwide thing. Here is a recording we made with Dee Fisher some years ago.
It's a way of offering volunteer labour on organic farms in exchange for your accommodation and meals.
Right, well, you're woofing at the moment on an allotment. Have you woofed elsewhere?
Oh, I have. My daughter and I travelled around the UK and Europe for 4 months last year, and it was a great way to be able to do it. We spent about 2 months in Cambridge last year. We woofed on a fantastic organic farm up near Peterborough for a little while, which was very different. It was an organic salad production sort of place, so very, very different operation. We learned really quite different things there. But I think the best place we stayed was actually on the mainland just outside Venice. Stayed in a little gypsy caravan on an organic farm there, and they have a constant rotation of woofers who work there all the time. Wonderful, wonderful place.
Wow, it does sound good. Can you stay as long as you like, or is there a limit?
Do you know, each individual owner or farm has their option about what they want, and so some places would prefer only to have casual weekend workers come in, so they tend to take people from the local area. Others really varied. A lot of the time you just negotiate with the owner on what you're looking for and what they're looking for, what dates are available.
Right, and you get accommodation for nothing, do you?
Yes. Now,
in return for your labour,
yes.
and
So
food as well.
The accommodation is not always as grand as I have in Cambridge.
Oh.
You know, sometimes it's a tent, but but they are required to provide accommodation that's reasonable, and they feed you.
Yeah.
And you know, you usually do the usual requirement with woofing is that you work 6 hours a day for 5 days a week, and then your weekends are your own or whatever. And so we don't make our host feed us at the weekend.
Yeah. Do growing techniques differ?
They do, and also management techniques. You know, working for the farm up in Peterborough, it was a much more regimented organisation. We were up at 6 every day, and really had to work very, very hard to earn our breakfast. And it was just extremely structured. And working for an individual as we are now, it's much more relaxed. We can, you know, he's quite forgiving if we have to go to an appointment or whatever. We can kind of come and go, and we make it up later. So those things do come into it. But I think the greatest thing about woofing has been the opportunity to learn. Because I was a very experienced gardener when I started this. I'd had my own quarter-acre plot for 20 years when I lived in the UK before. But I had never grown much in the way of vegetables. And so it's been an enormous opportunity to learn so much about just the cultivation methods that are needed and the pests and diseases that are different from things that I've dealt with before. So it's been an incredible learning opportunity.
And is it quite serious? I mean, you know, one of the things that sort of historically British students have done is gone grape picking in France and sort of I think, drunk a lot of wine and had a great time, you know. And there's been a lot of bonhomie and, you know, it's been very communal and friendly. Is there any of that? Or is it...
Oh, good heavens. There is everything of that. When we came to Cambridge last year, we just came straight into a ready-made community. There's a huge and very warm and welcoming community that are looking at living life sustainably in this area, and we tapped straight into that community. They took us to their hearts. We were at every party and drinking all the beer, and, you know, we were like part of the family. And when we've come back this year, we've been welcomed with open arms. People couldn't wait to see us again, and it's really just been lovely to come back into that community.
Oh, that's really nice.
You know, we've made lifelong friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. What sort of age range do woofers sort of span?
Well, you have to sign up as an individual, you have to be at least 18. And as long as, I guess, you're physically able, I don't think there's any upper limit. If you're travelling with a parent or guardian, you can woof at a younger age. So my daughter was 16 when we were travelling last year. But she had to sign up through my membership. And so there are some places that won't accept children. I know people who woof as families, so they take their much younger children and they'll stay on a fruit farm or whatever, and it becomes like a combined family vacation and everybody works.
So you could spend a summer holiday doing that?
Absolutely. You could spend your whole life doing this. I'm kind of tempted.
Right, and so where have you woofed outside of Europe? You say in North America?
I haven't woofed in North America,
right.
But I know a lot of people who have. And so one of my friends we lived in the Canadian Rockies, which is renowned for having no topsoil whatsoever. And so she went off way the other side of Canada to the real grain farming area. And she was running combine harvesters and all that sort of thing. And it was a very, very different experience. And working a lot with animals, which is nice for people that appeals to. She has a great love of horses. And so that was a really good opportunity for her to work with livestock.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really varied.
Extremely varied.
And you can woof, you say, anywhere. So you go and woof in, I don't know, Singapore or Thailand or...
As long as they have agriculture going on, yes. You know, I know people who've woofed in Greece and Italy, Estonia. You know, there's just... you choose where you want to go and then you start to look.
Right, but do you need to know much?
Do you know, you really don't. It's an asset if you do. And some places, some advertisers will be very specific about the skill sets that they're looking for. It doesn't mean that they won't take you if you don't have those skill sets, but for a particular summer, for example, they might have a task that needs to be done. They might want to build an outbuilding, for example, that summer. So they're looking to have woofers at some point in that time who have the skills that would help them to do that. So it doesn't mean they won't take anyone else, but they'll be very specific about what they're looking for. Others will take anybody, and you do what you can, you learn a great deal, and you work together. So
yeah, so it sounds good. So to find out about it, you look at the WWOF website.
Yes.
Right.
.org.uk, I think it is.
Right.
But there's a site for every country. So if you just Google WWOOF, then you'll get the site that will tell you all of the different countries' websites. You have to go to each country's website to register or to apply for placements in those countries.
But there's a link on that main one.
Yeah. And I think the best thing I could possibly say is don't hesitate, because I know people who've woofed in Italy. They did not share a word of language with the people they were working with and had the best experience of their lives. It was absolutely tremendous. They were within a walk of the sea and they worked hard, they ate fantastically, had a wonderful holiday tucked in between, and again made lifelong friends. By the end of it, they were communicating beautifully, and they've been back 2 or 3 times since then.
Wonderful.
It is. It is wonderful. I don't have a bad thing to say about it.
Right. Thanks very much, Dee.
It's my pleasure.
I've got to agree with Dee, actually, and that sound of woofing on an Italian organic farm sounds wonderful.
It does.
I used to work for an organic farm, and it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. Just because it was a small operation, everyone was very friendly. Just like Dee was saying, there were people coming from all across the world, because it was almost like an exchange, like a foreign exchange thing, or almost a pen pal sort of thing. They would just turn up and people would work, and we'd all be kind of mucking in together. It was just so wonderful being able to learn and speak with people with different experiences and lifestyle experiences and everything.
Yeah. So where was it? Where was the...
This was in South Wales, in a place called Golden Grove. And yeah, it was just awesome. And the food was good as well, because everything we were picking was organic. The whole idea was you pick it all, and then it gets packed up for orders and delivered to people across the country. And the customers were very acceptable as well, because the veg was variable in its size according to the weather. So sometimes, let's say, the potatoes would be small, sometimes they would be large. You wouldn't get complaints from the customers. We'd actually have meaningful ongoing conversations with the customers as well, and that just made them even more enthused about the whole business, you know. And it was just a really cool thing, you know. I kind of miss it, but I don't miss the heat.
No, I agree. No, it does sound very tempting.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to some Supercharge, of course, taking us into the wine news. And we begin with Steve Hovington of the Cambridge Wine Academy, because he is toasting a tour of Germany, Austria and Central Europe on the 1st of July in the Cherry Hinton Road branch of the Cambridge Wine Merchants.
On the 17th of July, the Beginner's Guide to Wine has a tasting of the wines of Germany. And on the 5th of August, Steve Hovington presents a tour of Spain, and that too is in Cherry Hinton Road.
And on the 31st of July, there is a wine and cheese tasting on the Cam. This is in collaboration with Grape Britannia. It lasts 90 minutes and includes 3 wine and cheese pairings, a bottle of water, and a trip along the backs. More details on the Traditional Punting Company website.
That sounds rather nice.
It really does, doesn't it?
As long as it's cooled down. Right, let's have a look at the Guardian's Feast magazine. Actually, today's Guardian has the usual Feast magazine, issue number 440, amazingly, and it also has the Guardian Food Quarterly, issue number 2. So we'll just have a look at a couple of things, or maybe 2 or 3 things in Feast. And then let's have a look at the Guardian Food Quarterly, see what's in there. In Feast today, Tom Hunt, who has The Filter, he talks about what's best out of a variety of options. Today, The Filter is looking at mixed salad, and Tom Hunt says, having grown up on permaculture farms and worked closely with kitchen gardeners my whole life, I know how integral salad leaves can be to a small operation. Quick to grow and harvest, salad is a cash crop. Supermarket salad bags can rarely compete with the wonderful diversity of leaves found on such farms, and are often only made up of 2 to 4 types of leaf, compared with the incredible range of 8 to 12 varieties found in a good farm bag. Anyway, his best overall bag was G's Organic Mixed Leaves, which you can get from Ocado. And there are at least 3 unwashed leaves with very sweet baby spinach, baby red and green Batavia.
Oh, I've not heard of that. Batavia.
No, so they weren't growing that in South Wales. No, I feel terribly ignorant. So there's quite a variety in quality. The one he liked least was Asda's beetroot, baby spinach and baby kale salad, which he thought tasted slightly musty. So if you're buying it, he says, check it has a long use-by date. And there's another one that sounded rather interesting, Morrison's. The best butterhead, pea shoots, chard and sorrel. Sounds rather interesting.
Yeah, we don't have a Morrison's around here, do we? Where's the nearest one?
I've no idea. I don't know. Felicity Cloak, her double-page spread today is the perfect chicken souvlaki, which reminds me of hot days in Greece. Very nice. Anyway, some quite interesting. I'm going to pass this over to you, Matt, and you can have a look. Well, I just have a quick look at Food Quarterly, which has got a lot of big names in it. So, for example, Ruby Tando writes about salad. She says she's not really predisposed to be a salad person, so she goes to cookbooks in search of inspiration. Mark Diacono has a small section on the season's star ingredients, what's best at the moment. And then there's an interview with Nathan Outlaw, who's of course famous for fish. And I went to a Nathan Outlaw restaurant in Rock in Cornwall a few years ago, and For reasons I really can't quite comprehend, I didn't have fish. It's a bit stupid. I had lamb, but it was very good. And there's an article about where to eat in Copenhagen. And I'm intrigued to see, or I don't know if intrigued is impressed perhaps, or surprised is a better word, to see there's a restaurant in Copenhagen called Slurp.
Excellent name.
Yeah. Anyway, what else is there? 5 ways with berries. And a surprising range of things. Spicy fish sando with gooseberry ketchup, roast aubergine with whipped feta and strawberry chili salsa, feta, blueberry and coriander scones.
Ooh, that sounds very interesting. Feta and blueberry.
It does. Brown sugar joconde with raspberries and sour cream. Fantastic. There's an article about... We heard before from Richard Stokes about the pressures on restaurants, and it's apparent from Instagram, as I said earlier, from the number of tables available in places that are normally very hard to get into. It's obviously what the restaurants are under pressure. And there's an article about restaurant bills, about how much profit restaurants make. So here's a dish: asparagus, smoked emulsion, watercress and breadcrumbs. It's a starter at Apricity in London W1. The price is £21, quite a lot for a starter, and the profit is £1.65, so less than 10%. And there's another one: beef sirloin, short rib and wild garlic, which is a main at Teal in London E8, London Fields. And the price is £36 and the profit is 44p.
Oh, good God.
And it sort of just explains why that is. I mean, that is extraordinary. It's almost... hardly worth it, is it? Felicity Cloak, who's never far away from it, The Guardian talks about food, has a review of the best new food books, and she particularly likes one called Istanbul and says that it's one of the most thrilling places that she's ever eaten in. Now, have you been to Istanbul?
No.
It is a fantastic city, and I'm not sure whether it's happening this year, but there's going to be a direct train route to Istanbul set up so you can go to Istanbul. I think it takes 3 days to get there or something. But,
all right.
Yeah. Rather nice. Anyway, Felicity Cloak recommends this book called Istanbul. There's a South African food book that she likes, La Trattoria, the Spinster Cookbook. Anyway, that's the Guardian Food Quarterly, issue 2, available with today's Guardian. But you're looking at Feast.
Yeah, I'm back at Feast, and the one of the pages that caught my eye was from Rachel Roddy. Did you mention this one already? The Tales
No, I didn't mention it. And of course, she's been on Flavour a couple of times.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, her article is called Tales from an Italian Kitchen, and it just highlighted to me the massive blind spots that I have in my food ephemera. You'd think after like 15 or 16 years of working on a food program I should know things, but I don't know hardly anything when it comes to shellfish. And again, you were talking about that with
Richard.
Yeah, with Richard. And just because I have no experience of shellfish, that people younger than me may not have much experience of it either. But I know for a fact that's not true. Other British people who do, not talking about Mediterranean people who would be much more used to having that in their diets.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever tried mussels, for example.
Have you not?
Never tried mussels. I think I've probably tried something similar to it, and because I was put off by the flavour and I was far too young to, appreciate it or like the consistency of it, that it just put me off everything else for many, many years. So what Rachel is talking about here with the peppered mussels with salty chips just sounds really lovely. I was just thinking about what meals could I not stand on in the heat that we've been experiencing the last few days. No.
A roast dinner. No. Although there's a lot of places started up doing a roast dinner sort of after winter, which rather surprised me.
Yeah. So anyway, I suppose that was my takeaway from Feast, as well as that and the quick article about picking the items for the perfect picnic. I think the only reason that caught my eye was because they showed a really delicious example of a Scotch egg sliced in half, and that reminds me always of the Scotch eggs that you can get at the Gog Magog farm shop.
And they're good, are they?
They're good, and they're hot. They're served hot, and they
don't want anything hot.
No. Well, I'd make an exception for that because, a good tasting Scotch egg is just wonderful.
Anyway, that's our... look.
Yeah, that music signals time for the news from social media, as usual, and a reminder that you can find Flavour on Instagram. We are at FlavorCam. And you can also contact us by email, flavour@cambridge.radio.
Open today until 2 or until sold out. Biscotti di Deborah's Bakery in Dry Drayton on Scotland Road, open till 2. This Saturday, Calverley's Brewery will be open later than usual to enjoy the highly anticipated England versus Panama game, which kick-off is at 10 p.m, so they'll be there. Hastingfield Market, which we mentioned, is happening tomorrow, and joining them on the market, for the first time, Charlie from the Ivo Brewery, which is, not surprisingly, from St Ivo. Stapleford Granary, which is a great place to go and have a coffee and look at some artwork as well. It's a really nice place. That is shutting today at 1 p.m. And as a nice bit from Noshi in Cambridge, the Afghan restaurant in Mill Road, they're delivering food to the Afghan women's cricket match at Fenners, which is happening in Fenners today. So food from Noshi. Anyway, that's a quick look at social media updates from today.
So moving on to jobs, introduced as usual by Booker T and the MGs, we begin with Clark & Son Butchers in Grantchester Street, Newnham. They are looking for experienced butchers as well as shop-serving staff. Full and part-time positions are available. Just send your CV to sales@clarkandsonmeats.com, and Clark is spelt without that E on the end.
Aromi wants cafe managers and pizza chefs at all levels for its Cambridge cafes, and there are various jobs available in its Oxford branch too. That's about to open. Email your CVs to jobs@aromi.co.uk. There's a new coffee house opening in Comberton called Eden, and it wants an experienced barista. If you are interested, send a CV and covering letter by email to hello@edencoffeehouse.co.uk.
The Food Museum in Stowmarket is looking for a UK-based illustrator to create a series of food journeys for the Kitchen Project. This is a new permanent exhibition opening as part of a 5-year Heritage Fund-supported project. The full brief and submission details are available via a link in the museum's Instagram bio, and the deadline for submission is the 5th of July.
Mark Poynton is looking for a chef for his restaurant in Fen Ditton. Send him a direct message on Instagram for details. The Arbury Social is opening this summer as a neighbourhood cafe, part of Cambridge Sustainable Food. They're looking for an assistant to work front of house and in the kitchen. The details are on the Cambridge Sustainable Food website, and the deadline is soon at 9 a.m. on Monday the 29th of June.
The Cherry Pit in King Street wants a cafe assistant. This is full-time and it's permanent too. Weekend availability is essential. So to apply, send your CV and something about yourself to hello@thecherrypit.co.uk. The closing date is the 5th of July.
And finally, Stir is looking for experienced people to work at Stir Addenbrooke's or Stir at the Old Swiss. Job descriptions are on their website, but send your CV and a covering letter to recruitment@yourstir.co.uk.
And that takes us to the end of the programme for today. Don't forget that we are here on alternate Saturdays at 12 noon. We're repeated on Mondays at 2 and available as a podcast from all the usual places. But if you can't wait, just hit that on-demand button on the Cambridge Radio website.
Yeah, but that's all from us for today. After the news at 1, it's Christine Schneider, and at 2 p.m, Sue Marchant's selection. We'll be back on the 9th of July with lots more food and drink news, jobs and features. But until then, thanks for listening, keep cool and
goodbye.